Sehr geehrter Herr Premierminister, lieber Narendra Modi, vielen Dank für die herzliche Begrüßung in Neu-Delhi.
Thank you very much for the cordial welcome here in New Delhi. I am pleased to be here today on a state visit to India. The point has been made by you that this is not my first visit to India. At the time I came, I was the mayor of the city of Hamburg. And with hindsight, I'm in a position to say that a lot has changed. India has undertaken an enormous rise. Much has happened, and that is also good for the relations between both our countries and peoples and for all the goals and objectives we've set ourselves. Indeed, we are convinced, as the Prime Minister said, that both our countries are closely linked because we have similar ideas and believe in democracy, and it's important for the future of our lives. Thus, it is important for us to use these opportunities to address the challenges ahead of us and to make sure that in a whole host of areas, economic, cultural, and others, we further deepen and expand our relationship. And that is exactly the purpose of my visit to India. We have been cooperating. We have been discussing matters. This has made it possible for us to take important decisions last year when it was necessary. For example, when it was about the G20 taking decisions together. And I'm pleased that India has the presidency of the G20 this year. A very responsible task at a difficult point in time that has to be underlined. But I'm confident that India will fully comply with what needs to be done in that regard. A very important question is securing the supply with food and energy. We have to make sure that countries in Asia, Africa, and America are not too strongly and negatively impacted by the terrible war of aggression that Russia started against Ukraine, and that the impact is not too negative for them. Supply shortages is thus one priority of our work. Indeed, the war began in Ukraine began a year ago. It has led to immense losses, destroyed infrastructure, railway links, energy connections, grids. It is a major catastrophe, but above all, it is a disaster, a catastrophe, because we know that this war violates a fundamental principle to which we had all been agreed for such a long time, and that is that you do not change borders through the use of violence. But that international law governs international relations and ought to provide the basis for international actions. Thus, it is important that in the United Nations, too, we time and again state very clearly where we stand on this subject matter. The world is suffering as a consequence of Russia's aggression. I've been describing in what way it does. Thus, the cooperation between both our countries is of great importance. There are a whole host of areas in which we can further deepen and enhance our cooperation. First and foremost, the economic cooperation between both our countries. 1,800 German companies are active in India. They have created tens of thousands of jobs and are amongst the biggest foreign investors in your country. And our intention is to put this on a steady footing and expand that cooperation. The number of personnel employed here is to go massively up, and the agreements that the members of the business delegations have reached with each other point the way in that direction. The next Asia Pacific Conference of German Industry and Business will take place in India, by the way. Second, we want to further deepen trade relations between the European Union and India, and this is why both of us speak out strongly for the negotiations about a free trade agreement and investment protection agreement to be speedily concluded. I personally will make sure that this does not drag on. A third important point, research and development. These are important areas. We need talents, we need skilled workers, we need to join up our forces in that regard and make progress together. It is especially important for one area that in my eyes is of the greatest importance, and that is the development of IT and software. There are many very capable companies here in India. We have German companies in India. We have thousands of people employed in these companies. India has so much talent to offer, and we want to benefit from that cooperation here in India, but also with an eye to recruiting and attracting those talents to Germany and employing them there in our industry sectors. The central topic for the future of mankind is, of course, fighting climate change. We've talked about this, and I am very grateful for the very friendly cooperation that we have had so far. It's impressive what we've agreed to in the Indo-German Partnership for Green and Sustainable Development, and how much it has evolved since we agreed to set up this partnership. We have signed agreements and have enormous potential that can be tapped here. It's important in our eyes that we develop this further in the field of solar, biomass, using digital means, using hydrogen, green hydrogen. All of this plays a central part. And this is exactly what we want to focus on. And we also want to develop this at the global scale in the framework of the International Climate Club that we have set up. As the G7 presidency, last year we made sure that this has become a topic on the international agenda, and we want to work together to make real progress. I'm happy to say that the cooperation has been good in these areas, but I would highlight one area in particular, and that is the agreement on migration and mobility. It's still a fairly young agreement, but it has already been very active and has had many consequences. Many skilled workers, qualified personnel from India have seized the opportunity. It's in a way a model agreement, a front runner for what can be achieved at the global level. We take pride in having reached that agreement with India. And with regard to the challenges we are facing, we will be able to solve this. There is an enormous interest in developing these sectors, and with the right skilled personnel, we will be able to do so. Prime Minister, dear Narendra Modi, I'm very grateful to you for the excellent cooperation, for the friendship between both our countries, for the friendship between you and I, and for the many good talks and exchanges we've had. It is a wonderful feeling to be here today, and I very much hope that this is a good foundation on which we can build our ambitious relationship.
Thank you, Excellency. This concludes the press statements. Thank you all for joining.